Hello, everybody. Welcome to Off the Rack. I'm Sal.
And I'm Tiffany.
Hey, so things are a little different. Let's get ahead of that before
Nothing's different. This is totally
this is
normal.
how it is, right?
You've
you know
slid.
how it is.
It's a totally different universe.
This is the show. But listen, Tiff and I are actually on vacation right now.
We are.
We're away. We're away from everything. Away from the studio, away from our homes, our cats,
All
Ben,
of it.
everything.
Especially Ben.
Oh, yeah. As far away as we can.
Don't tell Ben.
No.
He'll find us.
He will. He knows where we are. If he could get away from work, he would be with us.
He
but
would.
He can't, so haha.
Eat
but
it,
anyway,
Ben.
listen, we are actually right now streaming live from a shared universe podcast studio, or podcast studio, since they were smart enough to slam both words together, get that search algorithm going.
Yeah.
What is it? Well, I guess this episode is kind of technically sponsored by two different groups, the first of which is a shared universe. Big thanks to them for lending us, well, we rented it. And that's the thing, is that you can too. We rented the studio here in Eatontown, New Jersey, and you can as well. If you are interested in starting your own podcast, if you, let's say, do a podcast on a regular basis and have for a good, 8 years or so, and you really wanted to do your show on, its regularly scheduled time on Monday, and you didn't have access to an Ethernet cable, maybe you could just go to the shared universe and do it like we did.
Yeah, but you'd also get the benefit of having someone who can help mix your audio. There's like a guy over there.
There's a guy. It's Christian.
The guy.
I'm here.
That's right.
There's the guy over there.
Pay no attention to the Oz behind the curtain.
Woo!
And he's helping us out today. So
Yeah.
it's like, if you needed some help maybe with your audio, with your tech setup, this would be the place to give it a shot. Like,
Exactly,
definitely.
exactly.
So look him up. Come
Yep.
on by. You get a dope background.
That's right. Yeah, you get a sweet bag. These are all things I would steal or buy.
Well, now that you said it out loud, we can't do any of those
No,
things.
well, I'll offer to buy. We'll see.
Okay, well.
I can't afford it. But yeah.
I brought the big purse.
Nice. Yes, good. The one that's like poster size. So we wanted to say also this show is sponsored by viewers like you. If you're watching the show live, you can always help us out by using Super Chats. You can ask a question or comment like these people here. Danny Ollie here said, woohoo. Glad to see, so good to see you guys. Good to see you, Danny. Thank you so much for your support. We've got Brian Rollins who says, been liking Nightwing, but the ending to the last issue did make me groan. Can't wait for Sword this week after Planet X.
I know.
Agreed.
I know. We're going to get into that.
We
but
are,
yes,
and I promise,
yes.
this is a comic book review show where we take the books from the past week, recap them, review them, tell you what we thought about them, and then give you recommendations for comics that are coming out this week we think you should check out. Now, we didn't have a chance to actually look over the books ahead of time so I could have my list, but we do have the list in front of me, so when the time comes, we're going to go on this journey together for recommendations. That's right. But we do have books that we're going to talk about. I don't want to give away Planet X just yet, or
No.
planet-sized X-Men, I should say.
Yeah.
So instead,
What do you want to talk about?
Let's talk about Nightwing.
Okay.
Right? Nightwing. The new Nightwing, of course, was, and I don't have everybody in front of me, but let me tell you.
I do have
Did you
it.
read Nightwing?
No.
Okay.
I wanted
did.
to. It was on the list, but then we went on vacation, and apparently laying on a beach was a higher priority for me.
And them's the priorities, ladies and gentlemen. This, of course, was written by Tom Taylor with art by, Bruno Redondo. That's right.
Yeah.
This is issue 81 of Nightwing. Again, this series has been sick, dope, great, awesome. It's a treat. It's a genuine treat. It's a lovely series. Tom Taylor, of course, proving once again this dude gets character and he loves them supporting characters.
He does.
Basically, it's just the episode is just that Dick fights the Heartless.
The issue.
The issue.
Every time we talk about Heartless, I'm just like, it's just Sailor Moon.
Right.
But I know.
I don't get that reference.
It's okay. That's okay.
Oh, Memento Mori says, I finished Sweet Tooth, and wow, great show overall. Agreed.
Yes.
Great show.
Yeah.
Amazing show.
Yeah, we talked about that.
Last episode.
I'm like, was it?
Yeah.
Feels like 3 weeks ago.
I know, and it was only a week ago.
I know.
I know.
What's
Well, that's what happens when you go to the beach 4 days a week. Is
Yeah, I
that you
guess
just
so.
completely lose all track of
You
time.
have no idea what's happening.
So yeah, I don't really want to give too much away, but basically Dick Grayson fights the Heartless. The Heartless kind of shows his hand. Tony Zuko's daughter takes over as mayor of Bloodhaven, and we watch Dick, Tim, and Babs work brilliantly well, and of course Bitewing,
What?
the unofficial name of the dog.
What?
Yeah, Bitewing. Which Dick Grayson says, I'm going to put the kibosh on that. He's already got a name. She's already got a name. And Tim's like, I have like 4. And it's like, yeah, but that's not your fault, Tim.
What?
That's Dan DiDio's fault.
What? No.
I know. That's a superhero name.
Bitewing?
Bitewing.
No.
Because he bit people.
Yeah, I get it. I get
And
it.
it rhymes with
I get
Nightwing.
it. It's not like I don't get it.
Right. It's just that I don't
like it.
I see Zorak. It's not a question of whether it's getting it or not getting it. It's whether it's worth getting at all.
That's exactly what it is.
I hear you. That's a great timely reference for you folks who like Space Ghost Toast.
Yeah,
Coast to Coast.
absolutely.
But anyway, yeah. So the issue actually has two endings, kind of like Lord of the Rings, which is 4 or 5. But it ends first where Nightwing rescues a bunch of kids and he saves the day and he fights the Heartless, but the Heartless gets away because of course the new villain. Yay! He also kind of addresses his continuity and deals with he deals with the fact that he's been shot in the brain thanks to Tom King's influence, and actually is more Didio's influence, but Tom King's the one who had to pull the trigger, so to speak, on the series. But he's dealing with the fact that he has a brain injury, and if he keeps getting hit in the head, he's gonna die. It's not like the Doc Ock thing where it's a new status quo. It's just they addressed it 4 or 5 times, which says to me that it's gonna come up. It's gonna be a thing.
Okay. All right. I mean, I guess why wouldn't it be?
Right. Well, I mean, because sometimes people don't want to deal with the stuff.
Because
that the
everything
previous
matters
administration did.
now.
That's right. Everything happened. Everything matters.
Thanks.
Infinite Frontier.
Thanks, Scott.
Yeah. Hey, listen. Scott is responsible for Batman.
You're by the way, we have a secret guest
secret
today.
guest.
It's Scott.
It's Scott's not.
I'm like,
no.
I'm not taking it back.
We would love to have Scott on, and we have invited him, and we worked it out. We had him. We were going to have him on a couple of weeks ago, and this was too tumultuous. I literally reserved the podcast studio yesterday, so I was not prepared. I didn't even tweet the episode. Really.
I know. Why didn't you do that?
Well, I did just now.
I know you did
didn't want to because if things screwed up, I didn't want to be caught with my pants down. You know what I'm saying?
Well, nobody wanted. I guess yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So
especially not on stream.
Anyway, so the end of the end of the issue is that he faces off Nightwing. That is, faces off against Tony Zuko's daughter. She, gets the drop on him, unmasks him, knows who he is, and then reveals in a big stupid One More Day / Teresa Parker situation.
Yeah.
Actually, my dad was your dad. I'm your sister. And it's like,
what?
Oh, we're doing this now.
Oh.
Yeah.
Maybe we're not. Maybe it's gonna be it's a reveal, but then another secret reveal.
I mean, I've been waiting for the secret reveal, which I think Spencer's gonna do in Spider-Man, where they just get rid of Teresa Parker. Not that I don't like the character. I don't care about the character at all.
Yeah.
So her being Peter Parker's sister, you know how I am. I don't want to get into a whole tear, but you know how I am about redundancies and bloated supporting casts. I don't have any use for them. I think, and that's the thing, is that creators, and we've talked about this before, and I think I've talked about this a number of times, but I'll say it one more time because it bears repeating, and I'll say it in the hopes that someone listens to me, for God's sake, which is some creators don't think about what's gonna happen after they do it. And once they do it, you can't swing the door closed. It's Pandora's box. It's been opened. Once you give Batman a biological son, they're never going to not use him. Once you give Peter Parker a sister, you've irrevocably changed the family structure of the Parkers.
It's true.
Once you do any number of irrevocable things, you have to work hard.
Yeah, but they're not thinking about that.
No, they're never thinking about that. And that's the thing, is that but if you're writing for a shared universe, but if you are writing for a shared universe and you're creating in this long-standing history, you have to think about this kind of stuff. You can't just be like, it's a paycheck. Ugh.
Right. Okay.
RK says Milestone Returns came out with a beautiful art and a good start for a story. What do you guys feel about it? So that's my review for Nightwing. It's good.
Right.
But that last page reveal, don't need it.
Right.
Ugh. I hope it's a fake out.
Right.
And a lot of people are gonna be like, fake out, man.
Yeah.
How could they have done? But it's a last page reveal of he's got a secret sister. What great story potential, man. Have I heard that? And you know how few times I've ever seen the potential of that story realized?
Yeah.
So few.
No, I hear you.
But as far as Milestone Returns, yes, Static #1 Season 1 came out newsstands this past Tuesday.
Yes.
And I feel like I've read it, but I think I read it digitally, but I don't remember if it's true.
They had a
that
preview issue, and then they had a bunch of other things in it as well.
Yes.
And so you read the first part of that preview, which was taking the Static mythos and story and modernizing it that it fit more in with modern backdrop.
Yeah. So it's newer, yeah.
Yeah.
I'll say two things about it because I didn't get a chance to actually read Static #1, despite my love of that character and the championing of that series.
Much of that had to do with the fact that we needed to prep for taking a week off.
We were away, and we're still away. Actually, in case you're wondering, like, what this is.
Why are we here?
We didn't change our studio. We actually went and borrowed somebody else's. We're at a shared universe podcast studio in Eatontown, New Jersey. So look them up. I'll put in the post-show, I'm going to put a link in the description and everything, so you can find all the data below that. But in the meantime, just watch the show and enjoy it. And if you want to help us out, use Super Chats, ask a question, we'll read it here on the show. But I love Static's origin. I love the original McDuffie book.
Yeah.
It's flawless. I mean, like, really, it's just genuinely fun and cool and great.
Right.
And it works on so many levels, and I feel like it has terrific potential to reach any audience, regardless of the time from which it comes. I appreciate and understand the need to modernize it and to make it new.
I think it was the right decision to modernize it and make it new, because it doesn't take away from the other one. The other one still exists, and it could be something that someone can go back and then pick up from starting here.
And it's available digitally on Comixology for a buck.
But I think
a book.
100% considering everything that's going on in the world around us, this was the right decision to tie it in to real world events, because the fact that it's like there is something about Static, much like you've said, that like he feels more like a Spider-Man than anything else.
Yeah.
In that he feels more real. Like there's something real about Static, so why shouldn't he be tied into current events?
I agree. Not only that, but like I think he works. It's funny, the Spider-Man thing. He works so well like Ultimate Spider-Man. In that there's a lot of other cool books that came out during the Milestone era, Hardware and Blood Syndicate and everything.
Yeah.
Like Ultimate Spider-Man, Miles was the one that made it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
It's
like
true.
Everyone loved Static.
Yeah.
Who read it?
Yeah.
You know, I listen. Icon and Rocket, notwithstanding, they made it, but not to the same degree.
No, and again,
like Icon appeared on Young Justice. He didn't get his own show.
No, and you know, I'm looking forward to seeing what they do with those characters as well. But there's just something like intrinsically charming about Static. I don't know if it's his youth. It's just the story and the heart that went into him. Like there's just something about him that he just hit.
Honestly,
he hit the right way.
For me,
he also had a show which is nothing like the comics. But
it's a little bit like the comics, but it's a children's cartoon on the kids' WB.
Yeah.
I know.
For me, the big thing that struck me that I was blown away by, and I love that they did this, was the fact that they put the Milestone logo on the cover. You see a Milestone sharing that cover together, and I that was so important.
Yes.
That it's not just a DC book, that it's also a Milestone book.
Right.
I love that.
Something else.
I absolutely love that.
I agree. Going back really quick, Kevin Kruger had a suggestion for The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, a show that we also do that I promise is coming. It's here on this channel, ComicPop Returns, and it's coming.
Yeah.
We got to make a new cover scheme. We're changing the name.
This is entirely my fault.
But I promise it's coming. But he had a great suggestion. Bad comic book movies, Steel, Judge Dredd, Ghost Rider. I mean, I love that idea. The question is, do you get the comic book adaptations? Because not all of them have those. Or do you just pick random issues from that run? I like that idea. That's a fun idea. Julian Lozando says, finish Sandman.
Yay!
It was great. Thanks, Tiffany.
No problem.
Should I read The Dreaming?
You can absolutely read The Dreaming. There's the current run of The Dreaming in the Sandman universe, and then there's the original The Dreaming. But I would also go out and grab Death the Endless.
Yes.
Just grab that. Death,
the high cost of living. She is of the Endless.
Yes, she is. Grab the High Cost of Living. It fits really well within there, and it's like, you know, it's not an OGN necessarily, but it reads like it.
You can get a hardcover of it.
No, you can, but it came out, I believe, in issues.
Yeah, it did.
So it's not technically an OGN.
That's true.
But it feels like one. So I would also grab that, definitely.
Julian also asked, do I think that Nick Spencer gets too much hate for Spider-Man? No.
No, not like the last.
It wasn't like
it's not like when Slott was like coming to the end of his run, and like the amount of like vitriol that he was getting. I mean, he was spitting it back at them as well, but like I don't think it's hate as much as it's maybe some disappointment from a lot of fans who were like, after Slott they were expecting big things, and while he's been fairly consistent, maybe it's not like consistent to like a level of greatness that everyone was hoping for.
It's not, but I don't see the hate that he's getting. I don't see hate like he got on Captain America after the big Steve-O reveal. So I feel like he's doing okay.
I keep forgetting we called him Steve-O.
Yeah. Denial, what's up with Marvel and Strange? I mean, when the Eternals feels like they're getting a definitive character-defining treatment over the master of the mystic arts, you know something is wrong. Tiffany?
Okay, so what's up with Marvel and Strange? I think the Eternals are getting a different treatment because they don't know 100%, so it's almost like...
Well, and there's only like one volume you can really show anybody besides like... I mean, there are a couple of volumes of the Eternals.
Yeah, no, there are, but like there's
the
one that everyone
buys.
points to. And of course, I'll have the people in the comments who are just like, but actually, yeah, but like overall, there's one.
Yeah.
I'd say the issue is that, like, with the Eternals are kind of flying under the radar. Not saying that Feige and Marvel and Disney aren't interested in what's happening with that movie. I think there's just a little less riding on it right now. Whereas with Steve, they needed to get him established because of the role he would end up playing in Endgame.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I feel like they were like, listen, no time, do the bare minimum, use the formula, get him in there because we're going to need him.
Yeah,
like,
because he's... And look at how many movies he popped up in.
Yeah, and so like I feel like that's what it is, and I have hope for the second one in terms of character development because it's like they've got a second.
Agreed.
They got a second to like breathe and establish him a little more.
Although it feels like they're using Steve again because in this case, you know, with the MCU and Marvel Comics, Eternals. There's a movie, there's a comic book series called Eternals that's coming out at the same time. That's all the synergy you're going to get with Doctor Strange. The multiverse, everything rides on him. He was going to be in WandaVision. There was a big deal with him, and of course the Multiverse of Madness, SpiderMan. I feel like there's a lot riding on MCU Doc.
Yeah.
What was it? Z Swimmer C says first time catching you guys live. Well,
welcome. We're not usually this live or this early.
We're not this early.
We're not usually this live. Usually it's
it's usually a little more live than usual. But but thanks for the hours of entertainment. What is your favorite thing going on at DC right now? Oh man, I don't know. I'm loving Strange Adventures like you.
Yeah, I mean,
which is excellent.
Yeah, you're enjoying the bulk of Tom King books right now.
I am.
Isn't that
I've never
weird?
liked more Tom King than ever before. It is weird.
Yeah.
It's weird that I've liked his books and now like he's been on the show more than a few times. It's like, I would never. If you told me that 2 years ago, I've been like, no way.
Not happening. Nope. For those of you just joining us, we are in a shared universe podcast studio.
It's a literal crossover.
With Mike and Ming of I Sell Comics and other podcasts.
Yep.
But they were kind enough to let us rent out their studio space. So if you are in the like southern New Jersey, central southern New Jersey, if you could drive to it.
Oh yeah,
you could drive
we
to
did.
It. Area, you can rent this podcast space and have like someone help you set everything up and do your podcast and have it ready to go, recorded, whatever you need it to be done.
Damn right.
So there.
Yeah. B Black says liking Heroes Reborn, tight knit and consistent with cool concept. Really like Squadron Savage, Weapon X Suicide Squad. Elektra leading a team was cool. Yeah. Last time I saw Elektra leading a team or being anywhere near one was on the Thunderbolts team that no one liked.
I didn't answer the question before about
you did
DC.
Not. Yeah, what book are you enjoying from
I'm
DC?
enjoying the Tom King stuff as well. I gotta say, really digging Wonder Woman.
Yes.
And like, we'll see what happens when she gets to Olympus, because I was really digging it because she was
in
Valhalla, but like,
Yeah.
All right. What do you got?
But right. I also B Black. I loved. We'll talk about Heroes Reborn in a minute. Christian Pereira, hey guys, love the new set. More TV showish. Well, that's because we're at the Shared Universe podcast studio in Eatontown, New Jersey. But this is temporary.
This is we're renting it.
Literally
enjoy this
that.
For this show.
Right. I did read Heroes Reborn number 7.
I am so done with this book. I haven't read it in weeks at this point, and I don't care.
No,
but I do want to hear you talk about it.
Well, it's written by Jason Aaron with art by Aaron Cooter and Dean White. This is just like it establishes a little bit more about like. Oh, Dean White did the colors. I don't know. It's more the same. But the only reason why I'm bringing it up at all is because I'm starting to kind of get what Aaron's going for.
Are you getting it?
I'm getting it. Look at what they created. Like one of the last pages. They created the Dark Squadron. Like
is that?
Yeah, it's Norman Osborn, the Green Goblin.
What is up with him in that?
I don't know.
In any version of him, he's like, I'm making a team.
Yep, gotta be gobby. But I get what Aaron's going for. I think I like it more than I have the last. Now that I kind of get what this series was, especially since they announced a new series called Heroes Return, I'm like, oh my god, really? You're doing that? Okay. But I think when it all is collected in trade, I'm gonna like it a little more. It's just the thing that really bugs me, and I think that's really what it is on the undercurrent.
What bugs you?
The thing that bugs me the most is that it is not genuine. It is Marvel knowing that there are more people now than there ever will be clamoring for a DC Marvel crossover, and Marvel being like, okay, but we'll do it ourselves.
Yeah, no, I know. I get it.
They did the amalgam. They're doing the DC Marvel Avengers versus JLA again, but with their own JLA.
Yep.
I hope that as a result of this, they're actually getting more people to enjoy these characters. You know, the Squadron Supreme, that is. Maybe Grunwald's book will sell more.
Where will they, like, what will happen after this?
Well, they still existed in the Marvel Universe, so, like,
No, I know, but, like, let's
maybe look at their own book.
You get...
Then you can just do Justice. Then Marvel can just
publish
publish
Justice League. Then they can cancel it 4 issues later.
That's right, yeah.
Or whatever.
Only if it was Just Like Dark.
All right.
But yeah, so that's my review for Heroes Reborn. It's fine. And this episode, this issue in particular, number 7, helped me kind of get what Aaron is going for.
Okay.
I kind of get it now. Okay, I care more. You made me care more, Morty. Anyway, are we caught up on Super Chats?
I think so, yeah.
I think so too. What else did you read?
I don't have it with me because I wasn't going to travel around with my book,
No.
but I read Demon Days Mariko.
Yes.
By Peach Momoko.
Right.
And I loved it. I loved it so much that I got upset as the story was finishing and it clearly wasn't ending there, but I only had a few pages left.
But
and
you
I was
knew
like,
you hadn't. You were
but
going,
I was like, but then there's no more. But then what will happen next?
Yes.
What, I don't understand.
I hate that feeling, but I love that feeling.
Yes, because
means you're
that
reading
means
good
that I'm
comics.
really into it. I'm really enjoying it. The book is just a treat to look at. The story is just super fun.
Yep.
It's just something completely different, and I welcome it. Obviously, like I'm just like inundated with X books right now, and I love them. And even though this is totally very much like in
Not that.
Well, no, it's not that. I'm still dealing with similar characters.
It's true.
Taken in a totally different way. This focused on Mariko and Black Widow.
Yeah.
With a little twist at the end, which I'm not gonna ruin it for you if you hadn't a chance to pick this up. It's told in a like more story fairy tale-ish Vertigo kind of way without it being like mature or adult in that sense. And it looks nothing like any other book out there right now.
Right, of
you know
course.
what I mean? Like it looks like all the covers that you've seen that Peach has done, but it's just I love it.
Yeah.
I love it so much, and I can't wait for more.
Also,
Cannot wait for more.
Shout out to Peach Momoko. I believe she's up for an Eisner.
I know, it's so great.
There's a few people, friends of the show, who are up for Eisners. So congratulations to all of them.
Right. I'm like right now just staring at all these hats. I'm like, I'll put one on.
I know. We got to buy one of these.
Yeah.
Anyway, Kevin Kruger, what would you be more shocked by? Spider-Man and Mary Jane getting remarried, or Reed and Sue getting divorced? I'd be more shocked by the remarriage. I'd be more offended and upset by the divorce of Reed and Sue. I think it's like, don't do that. Don't mess up that. I don't feel that happening. I did read a little bit of the Fantastic Four wedding issue with Doom. It's classic comics by way of a person who believes those are what classic comics are. And sure, okay. But the Spider-Man marriage. Here's the thing about the Spider-Man marriage. I've pretty much already given up, and the reason why I've given up is this: after the marriage in 1987. Everybody in the bullpen was upset because they were forced to acknowledge and incorporate the marriage because of what Stan Lee was doing in the newspaper strips. And they felt like, well, what the hell? Like, we didn't get to really organically weave it into the story. It didn't really work organically because at the time he was seeing Black Cat. She had rejected his proposal. The proposals kind of seemed out of left field. I'm not arguing against marriage. I grew up during the marriage. I am the guy who, when the last issue of One More Day hit, I put it up on my shelf and I said, never again. I quit comics because I was like, no matter what the story is, no matter who the creator is, none of them are stronger than editorial mandate.
That's true. No, that's true.
And it's like that broke me in a way. So trust me when I tell you, I'd love to see them get back together, but like, only for them to do it again and again and unmake it. I mean, like, they're making jokes now. Mephisto's in charge of the Heroes Reborn thing. There's a One More Day reference. Like, Nighthawk gets one more date, I think, in that issue. I remember it's not Nighthawk, but it's somebody. It doesn't matter. The point is, like, their One More Day has become a meme at the Marvel offices, at least at the editorial level. And throughout the 35-year history or whatever of the marriage, major writers at Marvel were pissing and moaning about having their hands tied and having to write for a married Peter Parker. And the only reason why it got so good and why it became so narratively satisfying is because good writers like DeMatteis were on that book and didn't whinge about it and were like, I'm doing a job, and we're telling stories about a married man and kind of could relate to that person, and we're able to tell stories that mattered and made it resonate with you and me. And when they did that, it finally kind of legitimized the marriage, but it also tied the hands of editorial because they're like, what are we going to do? How are we going to undo this? People are actually liking it. Now it's like we're stuck. It's kind of like, what do we do?
You were supposed to like it. You were supposed to tell us to take
undo
it back.
Yeah, you were supposed to hate it like me. And every time they tried to ruin it or unmake it, people got upset. And finally they bit the bullet and they did it, and they went through hell almost literally to do it.
Yeah,
with
quite
one more
literally.
day, quite literally with the devil. And now they're here, and it's like, if they ever do it again, can you imagine the crap they'd catch from doing it again? They'll never be in a better position to just be where they are now. Like, they'll never put themselves willingly in a position they were in where they tied their hands, or at least they felt like creatively, for 35 years. They're never going to go back to that. They're never going to go back. Which is why I'm like, they're never going to remarry them.
Right.
At least not in the main universe.
Okay.
Tony Riffy says, waiting patiently for Method Man's Elseworlds Exchange interview. Love his take on Ben Urich for that Marvels podcast.
It's Riffle.
Riffle? I'm sorry. But listen, dude, I haven't heard it, but I'll have to check it out. That sounds awesome. Denial, by the way, I don't think I ever congratulated you on the new channel, so congrats, and F YouTube's BS. Agreed.
Thank you so much.
Thank you,
Appreciate
Denial.
that.
Yeah, welcome. If you're not here, if you haven't been here before, subscribe to ComicPop Returns. Stay subscribed to ComicPop Prime, but, you know.
Yeah.
Anything else? Yeah, you have so many X books.
Yeah, all right. So I peaked at X Corp. I didn't get through it all the way.
Yeah.
I really want to like all of the X books. This one, I don't know why this one's so hard for me to jump into.
I know.
I am digging the fact that, like, Monet is, like, out, like, sassing Emma in a way. Like Emma's in her prime right now. She's fabulous.
She is fabulous.
She's fabulous. She's at the gala. She's doing all the things. She's moving. She's shaking. Outfit changes, the whole thing, right?
Yes.
Monet is just Monet.
Yeah, she's Monet.
She's just Monetting herself. But needless to say, this does take place at the gala.
Yes.
And there's fallout from what happened in the first issue. No one's happy with her.
Oh, the Planet-Size X-Men issue?
No, the X
Oh,
Corp
the first
number
X
one.
Corp issue. Yes, I see.
And with, like, the losing of the lab in the Savage Land,
Yes.
with the Brazil incident, with the flying island office corporation
right.
that they had. Fallout abounds, and Monet's dodging everyone's calls. They're still using phones, I guess, or not. I don't know.
I guess it would be really
Professor
stressful
X,
to have
left
like a
voicemail.
telepath. Really? Professor X left a voicemail.
I guess maybe he couldn't get her telepathically. Maybe she was
suspicious.
ignoring it. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe it was actually like
I feel like if it's in your
telepathy.
brain, that's actually easier. That's harder to ignore. But whatever.
She's really good at it.
Yeah.
If you have any sort of psychic ability,
Yeah.
wouldn't you be pretty good at that?
I guess, yeah, I'd be better at ignoring a psychic call than a phone call.
Right.
More disruptive. Oh, why is this small black rectangle vibrating?
Roberto of New Mutants fame.
Yes.
Is
DaCosta, yes.
Yes, is pissed because he put money into X Corp before he left Earth.
Serious money.
Serious money. And he's like,
Yeah.
So he's trying to get a hold of her too. At this party, they're going to use it to wheel and deal, shake hand, glad hand.
Yes.
Try to
we're seeing the infrastructure of
trying
the
to
X
put
Corp.
things back, because the fact is, it's like, they had their big reveal in like a not great way.
Yeah.
And so now they got to try to fix it.
Agreed.
And then the Von Strucker arrived. So.
Oh.
Yeah, and that's the part where I was like, okay, we got to shoot the show, because literally I was over there.
Right.
I was trying to read it real fast.
That's
so I
fair.
read that, but I also read New Mutants, in which Roberto is instead upset about not being part of the X-Men.
Oh. Well, that would make sense. Oh, yes, he wasn't elected.
He wasn't elected.
And that's sad because they did it. They voted via telepathic connection with every mutant.
Yeah.
So
no,
it's
he
like
didn't.
if you ever needed to know how unpopular you were,
You found out.
yeah, you know,
found out.
because
No.
literally you know what's on everyone's mind.
That's not really the key thing that happens. It was just something that stood out to me, is
Yeah.
that he's annoyed about that. And then they have a group chat page. It's like one of those infographic page where it's between a bunch of the original New Mutants.
Yes.
Where he's like, who'd everyone vote for? Tell me right now. Who did you vote for?
That's fair.
Only one. Sam is the only one who
Yeah.
voted for him.
Well, that makes sense.
Everyone else voted for anyone else.
Aw.
Amara voted for Sunfire. He's like, This is not. I'm the better of the Sun characters.
Yeah, he is. Sorry.
New Mutants issue was written by Vita Ayala with a totally different artist.
Yes. Linz.
I think it's Alex Linz. Totally different feel.
I will tell you though, the cover for this is sick. Very Sienkiewicz.
Yeah, it's dope.
Simmons.
It's dope. That cover's dope, which is what I thought we were gonna get because Rod Rice obviously has been like putting his best game on in terms of
channeling a little bit of
Sienkiewicz, but doing his own thing.
Yes.
Doing his own thing. But this issue felt like, hey, we want to progress the plot a little bit. It has to happen at the gala, and then we'll do some filler.
Right.
And that's kind of how it was. The big bulk of it is that Rain reveals to Danny that she found out that like her kid's alive someplace.
Oh,
or something.
I thought I heard
that. It's like we dealt with that, but like Danny wasn't there to help her because she had to go to Otherworld, and Rain felt bad about that. But they have a little bit of like an argument, and then they're fine. Like they figure it out, and Rain's like, look, the fact is, like, I wanted you to be there with me because X Factor told me this, that like backups are still being made of my kid.
Right.
But where are they going? And they're wrong.
Yeah.
So the kid's not dead, or is? No one knows.
That's horrific.
And so like Danny's like, did you ask them this or that? And she's like, that's why I wish you had been there, blah, blah, blah. And then like, she's like, listen, the fact is, like, if you had said you were going to stay to help me, I would have told you to go.
Right.
Because you had to help that person. So I shouldn't be mad at you. And so they're good.
Right.
They're cool.
Okay.
Right.
But they addressed it.
So we addressed that. We know that's coming. What are we going to do with that? I don't know yet. So we're dealing with that. But don't forget that the Shadow King is still on Krakoa, and he's dealing with some of the even younger New Mutants.
Yes.
In terms of, like, trying to help them to, like, switch bodies.
Right.
Uncomfortably. And Gabby recently was brought to him by Rain.
Oh.
In the last issue.
Okay.
And we essentially see at the gala that that X-23, Laura, that's it, that Wolverine is looking for Gabby at the gala because Gabby had a little like outfit.
Yeah, I know. She had a cute outfit. Yeah.
So she runs into, I think she runs into Daken, and like I think it's Daken. Is he the one dating?
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, and essentially she's like, have you seen Gabby? Because like she wouldn't miss a free buffet.
No.
And we were supposed to like hang out or whatever. And I don't want to say anything to Wolverine because he'll just fly off the handle and like rip the party apart trying to find her. So she's like, just let me know if you find her. Inevitably, at the end of this issue, we see those kids who were dealing with the Shadow King. Like, I guess they're not at the party, obviously, because they're kids, and they weren't invited. Really? And they're making their way, I guess, to see him. And like you hear them go, like, "Oh, like is that an arm? What is that?" And we see Gabby's body.
No. Well, she can be resurrected, but that's sad.
I guess.
Well, she's a clone.
She's a clone, but they resurrected Laura. But Laura might have been different because she
was needed.
She did a service.
Yeah.
So I don't know what's gonna happen there, but like she leaves like this heartbreaking note for Laura. Like it's really sweet. If you get a chance and you didn't read through that because it's like just a big long page of scripted text.
Yeah.
You gotta read that note because it's like it's adorable. It just talks about the fact that she's like, listen, like Laura, like you like, and I feel like we haven't been like connecting lately, and I don't know how to talk to you anymore because it's like you went away for a really long time.
Yeah.
And you came back, and you don't remember being gone for a really long time, but I do. And like a lot of stuff happened, and I don't know how to talk to you about it. And like it's just sad.
Yeah.
And she's like, you know, like I miss us being together and like, you know, hanging around. And the end of it is that like I can't wait to go to the gala with you and like hang out and like, you know, be like sisters again. And like Jumbo made me an outfit and it's got like a hood and it matches yours so that we look like we're together. And I was like, oh, don't make me read that. That's so sad. Yeah. So she shows it to Daken.
Okay. And show it to Logan.
You show it to Logan.
Yeah. But there seems to be like a weird Hickman mandate of like, don't make Wolverine important in this entire era.
I get. Well, I mean, I have a feeling.
He had 30 years.
Hopefully, he'll come in too. It'll be all of them going to like take care of this.
Right.
But it was very sad. It was very, very sad.
Oh. By the way, Duckade mentioned he can't stay for the stream, but he wanted to mention that he caught back issues where you mentioned Venomverse. And he liked it.
Oh, yeah!
Yeah, another Cullen Bunn forgotten masterpiece.
Venomverse, which was like stupid fun.
Yeah.
But I kind of enjoyed it.
Yeah.
It's stupid.
That's my review of Venom 200, by the way. Venom 200 from Donny Cates, Ryan Stegman, J.P. Mayer, and Frank Martin.
Oh my gosh.
New status quo. Obviously, we all know what it is. Basically, the long and short of it is Eddie's son he's Venom now. And
yeah, it's
Eddie
surprising
Brock,
no one.
And Eddie Brock looks like the grandpa from God Country. Because like the effort of becoming like the host, of replacing Null, yeah, it makes him grow a long beard and look old, and he's strong though. He looks exactly like the dad from the grandpa from God Country.
That doesn't surprise me. Does not surprise me.
Of course not, because all roads eventually in Donny Cates's town lead to God Country.
Yeah.
Just read crossover, but like, fine. You know what? Like, who cares? No one's arguing. Basically, like Eddie Brock is the most important person in the universe, and he's like, there's all kinds of stuff happening. But I'm not Venom anymore. But I could be at any point.
I like that you kind of used your Bruce Willis voice for him.
I don't give a shit, because that's Bruce Willis. I don't care.
It's like Bruce Willis meets Rick.
Yeah. Would you like to swing on a star?
No.
But Dylan's Venom now, and he's got chains because superheroes who wore chains were in comics that Dylan read, and chains are cool, which is an old thing.
Listen,
Donny Cates told McFarlane back in the day. He's like, chains make the hero cooler.
Todd McFarlane thinks that 100%.
There's no way he doesn't, and why wouldn't he? It's worked well. It's paid dividends.
I'm like 100% certain that Todd McFarlane actually created chains. There were no chains before Todd came along. He
certainly created, a new era for chains. Right. By the way, if you want more about Todd McFarlane, check out our interview with Todd McFarlane. Todd came on the show. He's on Elseworlds Exchange. Came out on Friday. Watch it.
We called it Todd Talks. At least
Todd
in the
Talks.
logo, because I was
so when he does that, you know where it came from.
It was us. It was totally us. I saw it in the chat just a little bit. I just want to the reason I'm talking about the fact that Gabby is a clone is because even though Laura was recently resurrected, Laura was sent on a very special mission. And so regardless of her clone status and her origins based on birth or not, she was sent on a mission and deserved to be resurrected.
Exactly.
Now they are using the clone excuse for not resurrecting people like Madeline Pryor, for example. And so it's it's a question of which way they're going to go for this.
Exactly.
So that's the only reason I'm bringing that up, is because the mutants right now are playing fast and loose with the reasoning why people are being resurrected.
Yeah. When in reality, it's just because Moira told them not to.
Because I want to, I don't want to, never Destiny.
Right, because Scott doesn't want them to come back, or because, not Destiny. Exactly.
Scott's like that, please do not bring Madeline back.
Yeah, please, that would make my life even more complicated than the three-way I'm having with Wolverine all the time.
Put her on the other side of Wolverine.
Yeah. By the way, I also noticed Legends of the Dark Knight #2 from Derek Robertson, who wrote and drew it. I reviewed this entire series, or at least this run. It's now available in physicals. If you like Derek Robertson, you're going to love this. If you don't, or if you think an artist writing a book, is it good? No, it's awful. Don't bother. But I just wanted to mention, it's it came out, it's in physicals, and and it gets better though. After the Robertson story arc, it gets better.
Yeah.
So I would say that it's good, because just let Lodok L-O-D-K, Lodk, is a good imprint and a great idea.
I legitimately didn't know what you were doing right there. I was like, are you
just
having
abbreviating.
I'm like, is that an
Night.
artist?
Yeah, no.
Lodok.
I thought you were having a stroke.
That's fair. That's fair. It's because no one ever says these abbreviations. No one says I was reading ASM the other day, and it's Amazing Spider-Man? No one thinks that. But you don't say the abbreviations. B Black also back to say, what mutant are you most pleased on character development? Also, how will this lead to Hickman putting toys back in the box? Moira's mutant Ragnarok.
She is.
All she has to do is die, and then it's
exactly. And so they don't have to even use it right now. Nope. Hickman could absolutely do that. Hickman, who could do everything, have all of the stories, and have the Hickman era of X-Men with all of the people he's been working with in the Hickman inner circle. That's essentially like Krakoa. I have to assume in the Marvel offices somewhere they have a little room where they have things in a circle. There's a big tree.
Oh, no doubt.
It's like one of those old McDonald's
those ugly
apple
trees.
Pie trees,
yes,
but
with faces on them.
Yeah, whatever.
Well,
you get the Grimace to translate for you. It's cool.
He's the cipher of the McDonald
land.
Yeah.
But in terms of with how we put it back into the box, it's Moira, and it doesn't have to be him. He could leave it. Marvel could be leave it for now.
Yes.
Sales are doing well enough. Let someone else play with it until they tank it, and then we could always reboot it.
Exactly.
Sometimes they'd rather just run it into the ground. Than just end something with you wanting more.
Marvel.
Or anyone.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
For character development wise, I'm just happy that Abigail Brand is back, but I think Moira has had the most significant character development, honestly.
More used than ever before.
More used than ever before with secret
importance.
shadowy importance.
Yeah.
I kind of like Scott's development.
Yeah.
Like he's still like true to himself.
Right, but he's also a family man, and he's like,
a
I'm a
little
hero,
more
but
relaxed.
also, yeah.
Like he's just a little
and
more
he needed
chill.
to relax after the period he had. He needs to relax. So I'm glad he's in that space.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's so many characters, honestly, like a lot of characters. That's why I'm really, I think, enjoying this time frame is that like so many characters have gotten a chance to do something different.
Yeah.
And like be different. Not sinister, but you know, whatever.
Alex Cash, thank you very much for your support, man. We really, really appreciate it, Alex.
Just helping us out, man. Thank you.
It's awesome. So yeah, more X-Men, I guess, or do you want to go? How many more X-Men books?
That's it.
Okay,
It's
so we can talk about
there's
two more
Planet-
books, and then so we'll talk about. Let's talk about Supergirl then.
Yeah.
All right, so Supergirl #1, Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow, number 1 from Tom King and Bilquis Evely. Bilquis Evely. Well, Tom keeps saying Bilquis.
Oh, maybe it is Bilquis.
So I don't know.
He would know probably more than I would. He talks to her.
Yeah, and he probably speaks more languages than I do. So
Like 100%.
so it's Bilquis Evely.
He can also grow a better beard than either of us.
Well, he can grow certainly faster.
Yeah, like 24 hours.
Yeah, it was amazing.
You can't prove otherwise.
No. But yeah, Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow, #1. It's just True Grit in space, but starring Supergirl as Rooster Cogburn.
Right, which is hilarious because I guarantee not a lot of folk who
Are reading Supergirl or would read Supergirl.
or like maybe are even in the chat right now have like dove into True Grit because True Grit not only it was a remake of a movie
it's a book
I'd never seen.
and 2 movies.
There you go. And the only reason I saw the remake was because you really wanted to see it. I was
did.
like, cool,
I desperately
whatever.
wanted to see it. And, yeah.
But the fact is, it's like it is like that thing, which is like kind of a Western.
Yeah.
But like,
But in space and with like sweeping, beautiful
right?
vistas.
But like,
and
I always feel like a Western's a hard sell.
it didn't used to be.
Like
In the
Magic's
60s,
a
they were
hard sell.
big.
I think a Western's a hard sell right
See,
now. Right now.
Yeah, well, until the best one comes out. Like
Well,
when
yeah.
Tombstone came out, Westerns were tough. Then there was that bidding war against Wyatt Earp and Tombstone to try and get that movie
But that's
out.
like 25 years ago.
Yeah, but also then you got Quick and the Dead, you got Unforgiven. Like all those movies came out around the same time.
Sure, but
then it went away.
I think in terms of. But you could say the same thing about comics because it's like, yeah, you can sell a Harry Potter movie and
Yeah.
you can sell those books, but
Yeah.
like selling magic in comics doesn't always work.
No.
Just like, you know,
Westerns are tough. No, Westerns don't sell comic books.
that's what I'm saying.
You're right.
And so like saying that is bizarre.
Yeah.
However, this book is really just taking the like badassery associated with Westerns and what people believe Westerns to be.
Yes, because it's
And
the thing.
putting it into a book about in like a totally science fantasy setting.
Yeah. It's actually kind of funny because everyone always says they love Westerns and they read one or watch one, they're like, and it's because you're measuring them all based on your favorite Western.
Yeah.
You know, it's why everyone hates Back to the Future 3. Besides the fact that it also sucks. I love Back to the Future 3, but like, Jesus. But, yeah.
But that's why I'm like, I don't want people to hear people calling it like a Western in space
Right,
and then
because
like
that's
be
not
turned
selling
off
it.
from it.
Yeah.
Because you shouldn't be turned off from it. Like what we're
Right.
saying is like it's like this thing that we both really enjoyed because we both really enjoyed the remake of True Grit quite a bit. It's very cool and like the main protagonist is this little girl and it's like this badass little girl.
Yes.
And so like that's what you should take away
And she's
from
Hawkeye.
it. And she's Hawkeye, yes, but she wasn't at the time.
She was not. That was 11 years ago when that movie came out.
Yeah, which is why I'm like, it's like some people get this and some people don't.
Yeah.
Like, it's just a very different take.
Yep. I can't wait for the "fill your hand, you son of a bitch" moment.
I was so
which I know it's happening.
It's gonna happen. It has to happen.
My question is, when it comes to like, so you could just, especially from Ruth, who is the Matty analog for this book. She has this internal monologue, which is the return of Tom King's caption boxes in comics. She's very verbose.
They're back.
She talks a lot.
She does.
And she uses big words, and she uses 10 words where 3 will do, which is very much Maddie from True Grit. And it's funny because like I was just like, so you're just doing this is just True Grit. So when are we gonna get like, okay, so I got a Green Arrow pitch, and it's just Jaws but with Green Arrow in it, and it's like, can we just do that? Can I just take movies that I like and be like, okay, so it's Booster Gold but it's Event Horizon, you know, like.
You like everything you just pitched, I would read.
It's something well, yeah, because like
I don't even know where any of
but
those
it's literally
would go.
that. It's literally that because that's what this is. But
Ghostbusters.
Yes, I love Ghostbusters. I wouldn't change anything. No, just leave Ghostbusters alone.
Leave it alone.
Ghostbusters is great.
But Ruth in this, I think, fits perfectly than having like a human
Oh, she has to be
allegory.
Yeah, because it'd be
like
weird.
She's an alien,
It would be very
so she's
obvious.
from a very different like culture and like background, and like her technology level is very different, and so like the way in which she speaks works.
Yes.
It totally works.
Yes.
It also gives Bilquis
Evely.
I'm like, how did you say it before?
Yeah, Bilquis.
The opportunity to draw beautiful sweeping landscapes that are
Yes.
colored brilliantly by the colorist, who I don't have off the top of my head, who does a phenomenal job as well. Yeah, I had a question at one point aloud.
You had a question?
I had a question about the book
Matt
that
Lopes
I, that
is
I
the
Matt Lopes.
colorist.
Matt does a great job. I had a question that I had asked you. Like I made the joke about it because like after our interview with like Tom, or like we had him on, I was like, did I just really have Tom King on and tell him like, look, I'm sure the story is great, but like I'm really in it for the art.
Yes.
Which I partially was. However, that said, the
story is
was
good.
phenomenal. I was like, what I really should have asked him was like, do I need a does the dog die check?
Yes.
Crypto's in this. I'm not going to say anything more than that, but like.
But it's
But like it's
stressful.
It's a stressful thing. This dog's going on this journey. I can't handle this.
Yeah.
Like, is Crypto the Matt Damon character?
Yeah.
What the hell's his name?
Right. LaBeef?
LaBeef.
I hope not.
I hope not.
Well, maybe. It depends.
Maybe they'll pick up a LaBeef.
Because sometimes LaBeef makes it and sometimes he doesn't. But
Is Lobo in this at all?
I don't think so.
I was gonna say Lobo could be the LaBeef.
That'd be fine with me. But yeah, now this
Oh
is
my
a great series. It's a
No,
lot of
it's-
fun. It's a really cool opening.
It's one of those books where it's like, this is based on one issue, so check in with us 7
there's only
issues.
8, though.
Yeah, there's only 8 issues in this, so check in with us 7 issues later whether or not I can repeat what I'm about to say. But this feels like with this first issue, this could be one of those books that like people hand people to get them into a character.
Yeah.
Even though she doesn't necessarily.
It's not really Supergirl, or not the
Right.
Supergirl that you've ever known.
Yeah.
But it is. Like, it's just, this is where she is in her life.
Yeah.
And it's arbitrarily that point because
Right.
King chose this point.
Yeah.
But it is also springboarding her into the infinite frontier, and this is what she's going to be like.
Yeah, and honestly, and
For the foreseeable future.
depending on how much they do a deep dive into comic book lore, it could be one of those books you hand to someone who's not interested in superhero comics.
And they might really dig it, and then Kara becomes their favorite character.
Yeah, so
how that happens.
there's something that feels important about this book. And so
Agreed.
even if Kara's not one of your favorite characters, I would say this is a book that you should check out.
I agree, yeah.
Because it is a fun, solid read that makes you feel cool reading it. There's something cool about it.
There is, yeah.
I
There's
just
an air
felt
coolness.
cool.
Agreed. Nathan Starkman says, I know this isn't a big deal, but they retconned Laura out of being a clone in the Hunt for Wolverine. That's why she's allowed to be brought back.
Oh, there you go.
There you go. Thank you.
There you go. That's perfect.
Yeah.
But that again, still, that's why with
Gabby, it's even more complicated.
So who knows?
Yes. But I did really enjoy Supergirl, And if I didn't, I'd be telling the truth. It's not just because he was on the show.
Yeah. No. I honestly the book actually made me laugh aloud. You were there.
Yeah, it did.
Like it. I was like.
I will tell you this: when I was reading Ruth's her monologue, there were points where I went, "Do I really need to read all this?" Like,
oh really? I enjoyed every bubble.
Here's the thing: is that I got to this point where I'm like, "Do I really need to read all this?" Like, I know what she's saying. Like, I know what she's saying, and I know where we're going with this. Can we just get to the next part? But having gone through it and read it, I was like, okay. Like, it was like you're rewarded for eating your vegetables. Like, and then you find out, like, oh, it's actually not so bad. Like, and it was cute, and it also just contributes to Ruth as a character.
Yes, absolutely.
Elliot Troy says, had to flip the page during Planet X. Immediately thought of you all. Loved it.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. We'll talk about
we'll
that
talk
in just
about
a minute. We also have another one from...
Whoop.
Oh.
Oh, there was one from
Dex Baker. Dex, thank you so much for your support,
Thank you.
And B Black back again to say, do you see Dylan joining the Champions now? No. I see Dylan getting his own book called Venom. Or getting another book called Son of Venom. But I don't see him joining the Champions.
Son of a Venom.
Son of a Venom. Anyway, so planet-sized X-Men #1.
Yeah,
let's pull up the creative team for this.
I think it's Jerry Duggan and Pepe Larraz.
I know, and I got to tell you, it felt very Hickman-y.
I feel like it's that, but I could be totally wrong about that.
I thought it was
or
Hickman,
is
but
it
it's not.
Ewing?
It's Jerry Duggan. It also is contributing Jonathan Hickman.
Of course, you probably give him the story.
No doubt, with art by Pepe Larraz and, of course, art by Marte Gracia. So, yeah.
Oh, you mean colors?
Colors, yeah.
Yeah. Wow, I nailed it. I nailed the creative team on a
You
book.
did.
I never know the creative team on a book.
No, it's true. Yeah, Planet-Size X-Men. Why are they calling it this? We know why.
Yeah. Why are they calling it this? It's like we should have known.
Yeah.
We should have known, and yet I had no idea. And then reading it, I was like, of course.
Oh, right.
Because this age of Hickman's X-Men simultaneously is exciting and an adventure and a mystery, and also really great at making me feel like, oh, duh, I should have seen this coming.
Yeah. Yeah, it's amazing. It feels like a lot of ideas all kind of at the same time, but working in synergy because they're done by like someone who's who is good at juggling books, good at building worlds, and good at apparently helping to direct an entire line. Like, I could have seen this being an in-continuity way of shunting all mutants out of the Marvel Universe.
And maybe this is the... I'm like piggybacking off of what you were about to say and then completely taking it a different way because my brain was like, hey, say this now.
Yeah.
Maybe this is the key to what some of these comics need in general. Like, in terms of, I don't know how you break it down, but like you got your street levels for Marvel, you got your Bat Family for DC. You need someone who's telling an overarching story.
Yes.
And you let everyone else do what they need to do, but you guys meet about it, you talk about it.
Yeah.
Because clearly X-Men right now has like a Kevin Feige.
Right.
Just running it all in a way like people are doing what they need to do, and he's like willing to give everyone like free reign on like, do that, do this.
Yeah.
We just got to get here.
Right.
Tell your stories.
Ironically, he's not even the editor of the book.
I
There's
know.
an editor who's also juggling all the X titles.
I know. But like when you see because I don't know, because we've never had Jonathan Hickman on the show.
No, but he's welcome anytime.
Come on. But I don't know how much his involvement really is. You know, like sure you can read interviews and stuff like that, but like what is it like?
Right.
What is it like in the office? Like do they Zoom?
Right.
Zoom
well, I
meetings
assume
where,
they've
like,
been Zooming for the last year.
Well,
at
yeah,
least.
but you know what I mean.
But
like, is it like a weekly, monthly kind of meeting where it's like, all right, make sure we get in here, and here?
Yeah.
Because like everything's really firing on all cylinders.
It is, and it feels cohesive. It feels like it's part of its own continuity, but
Yeah.
also still manages to fit in with Marvel's universe, which again, like I just wanted to give credit where credit is due because this is a Herculean editing.
Oh my gosh, I do not
feat.
envy the editors on the X lines right now because it's like, yeah, you got Hickman telling everybody what to do, but like you need someone there to like make sure it's like, wait, does this make sense?
Jordan D. White and Annalise Bissa, as associate editor, are working their asses off, making this universe, this line, this family of books work, and it works incredibly well.
Someone in the chat said head of X.
Head of X, yeah, damn right.
But you know what I mean? Like, could you imagine if you had someone like that managing the Bat books?
I wish.
I mean, like they do kind of all line up often,
They
but
do.
like I'm just thinking like in terms of like the strength
Well, only
of
if
like
they had to go towards a conclusion. Like if they were to do No Man's Land again or something like that, they would need them all to have the kind of synergy
right, but
that
like
they had 30 years
like
ago.
if you're doing a big event, like as Marvel loves doing,
As Marvel will
loves
do
doing
probably
events,
twice a year.
right?
Yeah.
Which is probably why they're so thrilled with what's going on with the X-Men right now because it's so easy for them to do it because you got someone in charge who's keeping everything so that when they get to the event, all the books are in line.
Yeah.
They're ready to go.
And we know that Marvel's been doing that with X-Men especially for at least 30 years because they used to tell Claremont and Simonson, hey, can you make this an event?
Right?
Can you turn the story arc into a big thing?
Right. And that was one way to do it. But with this, it's like, Hickman's hitting certain like he's doing this because this is what he wants to do.
Exactly, yeah. He's telling the story he wants to tell. It's not just done for cash grab.
Right. Whereas, like, if Marvel wanted to do an event, like, it's like they need someone like a Hickman, not necessarily saying Hickman, but someone like a Hickman in charge of, like, the books that it's going to touch.
Yeah.
For a bit. To make sure that everyone's like, all right, guys, don't forget, like, tell your stories, but we need to be at this point by this date.
Right.
This is like, this book is when
this is where your arc needs to end at this point.
Yeah, so they can join in with the event.
Right.
And so things would feel more cohesive. Like, if you feel
Well,
like
and
you
the
need to do
characters
these
feel
like
like they've earned that
tie-ins, or
point,
you need to do these like line encompassing things, make it so that it feels like it matters, or that like I don't know.
Yeah, but it does. Planet-size X-Men
Planet-size
matters
X-Men.
big time.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
The long and the short of it is, the Raccos. Remember.
I'd say the long and the short of it is the fact that it's like Hickman inevitably may or may not be leaving this, and even if we're at the halfway point.
Don't say that. There's no way he's leaving before.
No. I don't think he's leaving before the end. I'm just saying, even if we're at the halfway point, time flies.
Yes.
And so, this could be over before you even realize it.
Yeah.
But he's putting the toys back in the box in a way.
Yeah, well, he's setting things up.
I would say he's possibly setting things up, or he's dealing with something where he's like, I did something where I changed things, and maybe we don't need to deal with that right now.
Right.
But I like this, and I want to put this over here.
Yeah.
I do think it's probably setting something up because everything he's done has set something up.
Right. Yeah. Literally everything.
Literally everything has set something up.
You brought up a point where what's going on with a particular species in space. And it's like, he set that up too.
He set that up for sure.
He invented an alien species and made them the Deus Ex Machina of the last event. But they're important and they also were set up. You put them into a place.
Yeah, they're doing things.
To be used.
Or not.
Oh, he'll
but
use
probably
it. It'll all be used.
It'll all be used. That's what I think is so brilliant about this.
Yeah.
But so don't forget that when a Racco showed up, millions of mutants popped up
from another dimension or whatever.
Yeah.
Who are bred for war and they didn't have a postal service.
They have no infrastructure.
They have no internal plumbing.
I think they do. I think that they're just
I assume there's one mutant who's just like, well, okay. I teleport all the insides of everyone's bowels into a pit somewhere, a volcano.
You just go into the trust me, you're in Amenth or you're in
Araco.
You're in Araco, which is next to Amenth.
Right.
There's some hellish void where all of that must just go.
You just pee into the void.
There's a weekly cart service that takes it out there, and that job sucks.
Yes.
You don't want that job.
Naturally.
But you do want your phone to ring.
I do want my phone to ring.
I definitely want that.
While I'm doing a show,
Absolutely
which has never happened before, so I apologize for that. Anyway.
But you've got all these mutants who are if our mutants are at a 10, these guys are at a 25.
Right.
They're ready to go.
Yeah,
it's
new island. They're on this planet. It's green. It's pretty.
They're all feral Wolverines.
Yeah, they're all just losing it, and it's causing international incidents. And it's no amount of cancer-saving drugs are gonna get you out of this situation. You got to deal with them.
Yeah.
Did you just add another landmass, and also unleash lawless mutants?
Yep.
Superman did this story arc where a small city was made big and it became a huge problem. It became a war.
Listen, and yet
you have a country.
I was gonna say, and yet it was totally cool when Thor brought Asgard down.
Yeah, well, it was like a town. It was like a township.
So
Asgard, and it was an issue, but only Straczynski wanted to write about it. But so it's causing issues, and the X-Men know they have to deal with it.
Right, and they recognize that. And I love this meeting between Cyclops and Cap.
It's one of my favorite scenes from this movie or from this book.
So good.
I love it because basically it's pre-Hellfire Gala. Mm-hmm. Cyclops has to meet Cap. Cap dictated where they meet, and they meet at the Xavier Mansion in Westchester.
Steve rides his motorcycle. He just wanted to go for a motorcycle ride.
He just wanted to go for a ride. Well, he had to ride from the city to Westchester. Mm-hmm. And Scott's like, we could have met anywhere. Why'd you pick here? And and he's just like, I just want to take the ride, and I thought it'd be fun. That was Cap being like, I want to remind you.
Yeah, where you started.
And where things came from, how we became friends, how we worked together, or where you came from.
Well, yeah, and also that we haven't always been on the same side.
Right. But this place is important.
Yeah, it's important, and
and you're letting it fall apart.
Or not, just don't, at your core, don't forget who you are and why you did these things.
Yeah, and Scott's of course I didn't get the message because I'm Scott Summers.
Oh, I think he gets it.
Yeah, well, he doesn't want to get it.
He doesn't want to get it.
He doesn't want to be lectured by Captain America.
He's but I get it too from Scott's perspective, where it's I get where you're coming from.
Right, but
I'm really tired of everybody acting like we shouldn't have this island.
Exactly. Yeah, and I'm not saying you shouldn't have the
island.
island.
We didn't take land from anyone.
Right.
It's just we have this island.
Yeah.
And we're on it, and everyone's really upset about it.
Yeah.
But really.
And that island killed you.
What?
That island killed you 40 years ago.
But now it's cool.
Right, but now it's cool. Okay. Just seems a little weird.
I'm sorry, Steve. Didn't you recently have a kind of a public issue? You want to talk about that?
Yeah, no, I don't. And neither does anybody else.
I know.
But I love he's like, are you going to come to the galley? He's like, I wasn't, but now I am.
Yeah, I got to see what's happening here. But also, Cap's really there because he's like, listen, we're all very aware that
deal with this.
This island popped up and millions of mutants.
People are pissed. People are pissed already. We don't want to cause this problem.
Yeah,
he created the mutant, the Avengers of X-Men Alliance. Cap did. Mm-hmm. It's like he knows.
Yeah.
He knows what it takes to get people on the side of mutants, or at the very least to be like, he knows that people are not going to accept them without,
I know.
some kind of
He's
concession.
like, it's going to be an uphill battle. Mm-hmm. And like, the fact is though, like.
Yeah, even Island of Wolverines that are freaking out. It's going to make it a lot
It's
harder.
not making it easier.
But then we actually finally.
Magneto's got a plan.
I love that Magneto meets them at the Iraqi, council, and it's just, I don't know if Magneto had seen.
No, he meets the Krakoan Council first to get like all in favor.
All in favor of what we're gonna be. I got this big idea. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, go for it. But when he goes to the council and he sees like, oh, it's the same friggin' thing. Oh,
He's like,
no.
Oh no! Is this how it always goes?
Right? We're not so different, you and I. But anyway, he gets a bunch of mutants literally invented just to do this thing in this book.
Sure. Well, listen, with Araco, it gives you that availability, which I did.
Yeah, it's millions of mutants. The X-Men do the same thing. Oh, I need a guy who can talk to everybody? Yeah, I got
that. But I dig that with, like, them pushing it with the Araco folk, because it's like, listen, if no one wants to use them, inevitably Moira dies and it all goes back. Who cares?
Right.
No one's going to be like, oh no, I loved this one person.
Yeah.
Bay the Blood Moon will probably be the one, and possibly Iska the Unbeaten.
Yes.
Like, they'll be the ones that maybe make it.
Yeah, Ocean Lizard Man is not making it.
But he is dope. I didn't realize how big he was. Like, I don't know why in that image of him.
He didn't seem so big. Maybe because he's a gecko.
He's not a gecko. He's a newt.
Oh, right. He is a newt.
He's one of those, like, underwater newt things that are, like, really cool looking, but, like, I don't want to touch it.
Yeah. I used to catch newts.
Not like this. Mm-hmm. It's like one of those, like, underwater, like, really, like...
They all look the same.
Albino-y ones.
Yeah, whatever.
Regardless,
Magneto puts together a contingent.
He needs to put together a team with, like, specialized skills. It's like he's pulling a heist.
Yeah. Yeah,
like
it
he's
is.
Pulling
Planet
a
heist. Planet heist X-Men. Yes.
Yeah, and where he's like, I need a certain amount of people. He tries to talk to some, like, individuals from Otherworld, including the Mercato.
Yeah.
The Mercantile.
Yep.
In order to avoid using Legion, because they're like, we don't think Legion's ready.
I love it because it's so funny just seeing Magneto go like, oh, I don't trust, like, should we get Legion? And he's like, I don't trust Legion. And it's like, shut up, Eric. Because he's just saying what Legion said to him. Legion's like, I don't trust you. And he's like, I don't trust Legion. I'm like, no, buddy. You don't like that Legion is on to you.
Yeah.
You
No,
jackass.
for sure. So he tries the Mercantile, that doesn't work, and so then he goes to Jamie Braddock.
Yeah.
Because, like, we need Jamie Braddock.
Right, because he can, like, the other thing is we need somebody who can, like, kind of mess with reality.
Yeah.
And the one we banked on, Dan Slott changed, and so now we have to address it.
Oh, that's right, I forgot about the Franklin Richard immediately comes
like,
up.
Should we bring up Franklin? And Magneto's like, we don't need any more pretenders.
Yeah.
I'm like, weren't you, like, in charge of a story that, like, happened less than a year ago where you literally needed Franklin? But now I get, but at least they're dealing with it.
But they have to deal with it. They have to address it. They have to acknowledge the fact that the Krakoan mutants recognize that he's no longer on the table. So forget it. So they get Jamie Braddock, which luckily they had him queued up.
Yes.
Like, luckily
there's some kind of synergy between these books.
Excalibur was going on, and he has been put in a position to be utilized.
Yes.
Where it's not just like randomly Jamie Braddock shows up.
Right. No, we've established that, like, you, the reader, would think to use Jamie Braddock.
Yeah, Jamie Braddock is like a monarch, like ruling over Avalon in Otherworld.
Yeah.
Great, awesome, nail it. We don't have to create a new Arakan mutant.
No. We got plenty of those.
He does in 100%, which means to me that these folks who are writing these books are paying attention to what other people are doing in their stories.
They're reading each other's books.
Because there is a moment in this that I was like, that's Excalibur.
Yes.
No, that's Hellions.
Oh, is it?
Because it happens in Hellions for Ten of Swords when Sinister shows up with his Hellions and he wants passageway through Avalon.
Yeah.
And so he's like, Jamie, you got to give us passage. And he's like, okay, I will.
But you got to go too.
I like your cape.
Oh, yes.
So he gives, like, Sinister loses his cape. And so Jamie in this immediately eyeballs Magneto's cape. Magneto's like, this cape is not leaving these shoulders.
Exactly.
He's like, okay.
Okay, but bring my cape.
Get my cape then.
Yeah.
I need a cape too.
Right. I mean, I'm all in on capes. Fair enough.
Jamie Braddock all in on capes. But yeah, we get to see that parallel again with the, like, two islands, Araco and Krakoa's council chambers that are set up the exact same way.
Yeah.
We get our mutant team there. They need to do XYZ, and so we have them. We get everybody together, and what has Magneto done? Well, Magneto went ahead and pulled from the Kuiper Band, which to me immediately made me think of Ethan.
Yeah.
Because we've talked about that before. He pulls a whole bunch of like iron out of it and steel and like makes a big ball of it and just shoves it into Mars.
Yep.
Why would you do that? Well, because the core of Mars isn't dense enough to hold the gravity necessary to create an atmosphere, and so he's increasing its density so that the gravity is greater on Mars so that it can hold an atmosphere. And so Magneto does that. I'm like, cool.
Oh.
Okay. Yeah, why not? And then several other mutants show up in order to like start kind of like terraforming.
Yeah, getting it ready.
Yeah, Iceman shows up and like creates ice caps.
Yep.
Which is dope. And so it's like, okay.
This is an Omega level mutant. These are all Omega level mutants whose upper limits cannot be reached. So yeah.
Exactly. I think Kid Omega's there.
He is.
With Hope, because Hope's also super important.
Yeah.
Because you have Hope who can
like increase probability or make it easier.
She can bolster people's powers, right? Which we have established in Sword that there is another mutant who can kind of do that.
Right.
Because in theory, also, what's his name could do it. I hate him.
Oh, yeah, Fabian Cortez.
Yeah, he can do it, but he got kicked off of Sword, so, and obviously
Rightfully
Magneto
so.
doesn't want to deal with him.
No.
He's like, you're out, I hate you.
That's fair.
That fish guy shows up,
Yes.
and his blood can make the ocean.
Yeah.
Which I was like...
But they add that it's him and the other guy, they, like, he can make an ocean, or he has all of the life-making properties and water, but like if you add
Jamie,
to it... Yeah, Jamie
and Hope. So Hope uses her powers, he uses his. But like in that moment, I realized how tall he was.
Right.
Like the Fifth Element.
Yeah. Like tall. Yeah.
Storm shows up in like a...
Well, that's,
I love seeing Storm drawn. It just must be so much fun. It must be so much fun for artists to draw Storm.
It's fun to see it from people like Pepe Larraz.
I know. I was just so enamored with this image of her. She just she looks phenomenal. She's like normally that she creates the weather, but here, or she controls it. Here she creates it. I was like, oh.
Right.
And they call her Goddess.
Of course.
That like worm guy.
Yep.
Turns into smaller worms and like
seeds the planet,
seeds and cleanses the soil of the planet. I was like,
fills it with like the properties that are necessary to make plants and stuff. They're terraforming the Earth.
Exactly.
Or the Mars.
Yeah, and then they have this other mutant who is essentially like, it's a really cool design. It's like...
Yes.
Like
he's a fan favorite right now.
Yeah, it's like a galaxy cloak thing.
Yeah.
Lactuca?
Yeah, Lactuca.
Who knows everything.
Mm-hmm.
And so they're basically going to use the external gate, which you would know about had you read
Ten of
Swords and Excalibur. Because that led up and was part of that had been destroyed.
Yep.
And they kind of...
They Farnsworth parabox. Remember that episode of Futurama at the end of the episode where they have the two boxes that go into each other's universe? They both reach into each other's universes and then pull the boxes inside out so they each have their own universe.
They like reverse it so that they can use it instead of like as like a gateway. It's almost like a slingshot.
But it turns it pulls
a
Araco inside out, so it goes through the gate, through its own gate, and then plops out onto Mars.
Yeah, they got all their asses to Mars.
That's right.
Every
ass went to Mars.
Which is neat because this is an example of like, hey, not only is this book setting stuff up and written beautifully and drawn beautifully, but it also actually ties into the Hellfire Gala because it explains where everyone goes at the end of the evening and why everyone's upset.
Right. Yeah, this is the issue where it's like, why are people pissed at everybody?
Because Mars becomes like the capital of the Sol system according to mutant kind, and has like this centralized section for like diplomacy.
Yeah.
Like not only will the
the Iraqans also they're not all one people. They're all kind of fragmented. So like they have their own little countries and stuff. And
yeah, well they have like a map similar to what we've seen for Krakoa. And like it's fun to see kind of some of the stuff that they do where it's like two big statues.
Oh, that represent the two worlds and what they gave up because...
Well, the person who makes them, I really kind of liked this moment quite a bit because it's I think it's the worm guy who
Yeah, it is
makes
Worm
them,
Guy.
and it's like this is like leads to Peace Valley where no fighting will happen there, and it's like 2 gigantic statues, much like in Lord of the Rings, of Genesis and Apocalypse.
Yep.
And it's meant to remind us of those who couldn't be here to
Yes.
see the culmination of everything.
their work, yeah.
Like those who had to stay behind so that we could have this.
Right.
And I was like, that's really dope, and very much feels like what Charles Xavier is doing with Krakoa.
Yeah.
Like there's something about that, and I'm sure if Richter were there, he'd be all about that. He'd be like,
Oh, Apocalypse.
I miss you so much.
Shut up, Richter.
And then they use Jamie Braddock one more time, or a couple more times,
Yes.
to create certain defenses.
If this is going to be the like front line of
Yeah.
our solar system,
They make a second sword
they
station.
make another sword station.
It's for defense of the planet, but also as like another line of defense.
Yep.
And I'm like, that would make sense that you're afraid of space right now.
yeah.
You definitely should be afraid of space right now.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's always the possibility of the warlock people coming, the Phalanx. The Phalanx,
the Phalanx.
like of the future coming, but
Well, they
now,
know, yeah.
But now inevitably, like Nimrod has come online
Right.
as well, and so it's like space is a problem.
Mm-hmm.
Every time the mutants go into space, it's a problem,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But Mars is theirs now, and everybody on Earth seemingly has a problem with that.
Yeah.
Which is, I thought that's hilarious, honestly, because it's like,
How hypocritical would you say?
well, it's like, they destroyed a couple of like
A couple of those
Mars
little rovers.
that are out
well, and
there.
they said, like they're really mad that we did with Mars what they would never be able to do in their lifetime.
Yeah, and I'm like, right, like you were just like, oh no, we were gonna do that, we
Right.
just didn't get a chance.
Right,
yet.
it was just gonna take thousands of years for us.
We hadn't just thought about it because it just like it wasn't a priority.
Yeah, and it's like no, it would never have worked. They also established like, there's radiation levels that, of course, if you can't stay on Mars too long, or you will die faster because of because there's an atmosphere to protect you against the solar radiation, and they talk about that.
Yeah.
Too. They Hickman clearly, or Duggan, or
both of them.
are big fans of like what ifs.
Yeah.
And concepts of like, well, how if I wanted to live on Mars, what would I have to do? You're talking to your friend who's like Ethan, and he's like, well, okay. First of all,
Right. This is where we find out that Ethan was
like a creative consultant.
creative consultant on
Planet
Planet
size X-Men.
Planet. This is Planet X now.
Yeah.
I love the fact that they're on Mars. I really, really do. I mean, like it's brilliant. It gives like this whole race of mutants an opportunity. It also, like, weirdly enough to me, like makes the whatchamacallit, oh my god, my brain is so like
The Arakans?
No. The Inhumans, like totally
God.
like
Yeah.
like they've got nothing special now.
No.
Like you were like
They had the moon.
Yeah,
and they had to go to
but
the
they
blue
were
area.
in space. They're in space.
They were.
They're like
Hey, they were in charge of the Kree for a little
they're
while.
not quite mutants.
No.
But kind of in space.
Yeah.
And now we have mutants
in space.
I mean,
and anyone and never
and they
and
live
everyone
there.
cares.
And it's not just like they're on ships or like
No.
they were hanging out with Corsair or the Shi'ar
they have their
or
own,
whatever.
They have their own freaking planet.
Yeah, they're just like it's fine.
Exactly. No. By the way, if you want to know what's going to happen next, you got to read Sword. The next issue of Sword is going to be
Of
like
course.
the moments later.
Right, which I am looking forward to seeing how she reacts to this.
You're talking about Abigail. Right?
Abigail Brand, how if either one she's gonna be like, cool, another space station, or she's gonna be like, this is a bad idea.
What are you doing?
You can't just
You just painted
do
a
that.
target on our back.
Yeah, like I'm really looking forward to seeing her reaction to all of this because Abigail, if nothing else, while she is technically a mutant, she doesn't see herself as such. You know, she refers to mutant kind, humankind, anybody
I don't care.
as Earthers. She's
Right.
like, you're just from here. Like I'm thinking about things on like, you're playing checkers.
I'm playing chess.
Yeah,
Exactly.
I'm playing 4D chess over here. You have no idea.
Yeah.
So I'm really looking forward to seeing how she reacts to that, especially because Magneto has had ties with that book.
Yes.
And so, like, she's going to want to have a conversation.
Big time. Big time.
Unless she's, like, already in on it.
Yeah, unless he already told her.
Yeah, and that's why they have
Which would be fine.
Sword Base B. Who's in charge of that?
Yeah.
I'm going to guess it's going to be Arakan.
I assume.
Maybe.
But even then, like, do they even know how that works?
Right.
They don't have spaceships. They don't know. Anyway, so yeah, Planet Size X-Men #1. That's
It was
the new
great.
status quo. It's great.
I
It's
read
cool.
that last night right before I went to bed. I was like,
Whoa. Yeah, I read it first, and I was like, oh, Tiffany's gonna love this.
yeah. And I did.
Because it is. It's like if you read Ten of Swords and you're like, I don't really read X-Men. Read this one next. That's it.
Yeah, like if you haven't been keeping up and you're like, I don't really care about the Hellfire Gala, because the Hellfire Gala to me is such a
weird decision to do this.
It is, but and I'm enjoying it.
Well, you were describing it and what an innovative idea it was.
Yeah, because it's like it's not told with the story structure of an event, because the story structure of an event tends to be like here's a book, it progresses the plot.
Right.
Next book. This feels like we're just getting issues where it's like, this is the evening.
Yeah.
We're not going to give you like 12 issues about one evening and like progress it along
But they
that
did.
way. But no, but like what it is like, here's the evening, and now we're going to see the evening from this side, and we're going to see it from that side, and we're going to see it from this side, and that you get to put all the pieces together.
Yeah, it's rare to see like an event that's just an hour or two, and each issue is just perspectives on the same thing you're seeing.
Right. Or
but the
like,
only thing they're withholding is the last 25 minutes.
Right. Or like it's like honing in on specific elements and showing us how we got to that point.
Exactly.
It's like a Tarantino event.
Yeah. That's
like
funny.
where it's like shaking up the way in which a story is told. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, that's neat.
It
but
is
I could
neat.
see for a lot of people being like,
why is that?
I don't want this.
Yeah.
Or I don't want this until it's collected.
Yes, or I don't understand this, and no one's doing a very good job of explaining it to me, which is fair as well. By the way, Elliot Troy, what are the chances? Sorry about that. What are the chances that Mystique recruits Laura for Inferno if Laura's really mad about the no resurrection policy for Gabby? Good way to get her on there. She is an X-Man.
Yeah, no, for sure. That could definitely happen. I mean, I think really what we're going to see is probably Mystique maybe recruiting a Havoc.
Yeah.
Because he wants Madeline brought back. We've seen that in the gala.
Right.
But during the same gala, Gabby has died. So that's a great question as well, whether or not that'll play in. But that's going to really depend on what their decision is, what X Factor and the Council's decision is on her resurrection.
It's true.
Or if those kids even say that they found her.
I don't know.
You know what I mean? It depends on the Shadow King's influence. Like, they may not know immediately that she's dead until someone reports her as being such.
Exactly.
X Factor would have to do an investigation.
Yeah.
An investigation?
Yeah. Solid.
Thank you.
I think Aaron A. Says, whoa, new setup is great. Much love from Canada. Thank you very much. It's not ours. It's a shared universe in Eatontown, New Jersey. If you want to broadcast your own podcast, check out a shared universe online and book your podcast today.
Yeah.
King Kaul says, every time I hear about the X-Men, I always wonder, what is Thor doing? Well, you should read Donny Cates' Thor.
But also Thor was in these.
He was there, yeah.
Yeah. He I can't remember. Was it this one or was the other one? He wants to like get a drink with. Oh no, he's hanging out. It was Captain Marvel. That's what it was.
Yeah.
He wanted to get a drink with Danny. But I've seen Thor hitting up some folks.
Yes.
Chatting with some people.
Totally.
Yeah.
B Black, future predictions for Planet X Fallout. Obviously, we're leading up. You know, we're gonna. I think for Hickman, he loves X-Men, and it's not. He doesn't love it because of the current status quo. It's not like I love X-Men because of what they will be when I set this all up.
Yeah.
He loves them because of the basic tenets that make the X-Men who they are. And what are the X-Men? The X-Men are a group of people who are different from other people who are hated and feared.
Yeah.
He's creating a world where the world hates and fears them.
Yeah.
Orcus will be a big issue.
I think
issue.
Orcus is definitely going to be a big problem for them because that's already space. Like, Arakko is going to have to deal with, I think, a lot of
and
Orcus.
on ground, too. Like, we're seeing, in the preview for Sword, Gyrick is enlisting heroes who into Orcus.
Yeah.
Because of what the X-Men have done.
He's getting ready. I would love to see them try to take Arakko.
Oh, yeah.
Because...
that's a great Genosha opportunity.
Yeah. No, it's true. It's true.
Silvery Cricket says, I really want Arakko mutants to fight the Avengers and just lose, like an embarrassing loss. I want them to question their cultural attitude. That's fair. I mean, well, if you want to see that, you can read any Hickman book when he took over the X-Men and they went to, like, I think it was Mars, and Ex-Nihilo beat them, like, very quickly.
See, I feel
Hickman's
like
very good at making the X-Men look, or the Avengers look dumb.
Knowing the Arakan mutants the way I do now, because I've been reading, Ten of Swords and reread it recently.
Yeah.
I feel like that's not the way to humble them. The problem that the Arakan mutants have, and the reason they're so aggressive, is just because of the state in which they have raised and the way that their culture developed based on where they were. It was that or die.
Right.
They didn't really have any options. And when you've done that for centuries, you can't just snap your fingers and go back to not being like that and just acclimate to new culture, which is why it's brilliant to put them on Mars, Arakko. But I think the better way to do that is for groups like the Avengers and some humans as well to show them compassion.
Yes.
and just show how like they can also be worthy, because that's how these people deal in right now. They deal with worthiness and aggression and winning. You know what I mean? And fighting. And so it's like, if you're able to show them that it's like, it doesn't always have to be like that, and that they can rise to the occasion, they may be like, oh, there is a better way.
Right.
I don't know.
So let's jump into some books that are coming out this week we think you should pick up.
Oh, let's do that.
These are all coming out either Tuesday, which is tomorrow, or Wednesday.
You should like share that link with me.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, because we have DC Tuesdays and we've got everybody else Wednesdays.
Obviously, Detective Comics 1038 is coming out from I lost her name. Mariko Tamaki.
Is it Tamaki?
It's my favorite Batman book coming out. That's on a monthly basis.
No, it's not.
Why not?
Don't you like the one from Kubert and?
Oh yeah, Detective. The Detective is good, but this is like in continuity.
Yeah.
The Detective is maybe, but like who knows at this point? It's really weird. Amazing Spider-Man 69 is coming out from Spencer. I feel like, I liked the last issue, so it seems to be like every odd issue I don't like. We'll see what happens.
Okay.
Justice League 63 is coming out. It's Bendis' Justice League. This is fine. It's coming along. It's limping along.
Yeah, I'm going to say, of course, Wonder Woman is coming out, 774, bringing Wonder Woman back to Olympus, but don't forget Ratatasker is with her.
Yep.
So I'm looking forward to that. Also, if you're following the Hellfire Gala, you're going to pick up Wolverine number 13, which is clearly a Deadpool and Wolverine story.
Yeah.
Makes sense. Deadpool desperately wants to be a part of this. We saw this in Thompson's Deadpool run, that like once he heard about Krakoa, he's like, wait, why can't I go? And they're like, you're not a mutant anymore, man.
Yeah. And he was also in one of the other Hellfire tie-ins.
He was, so he's already there. So hopefully Wolverine can either like give him what he wants, or like, which may just be like a friend. I don't know.
Batman Superman number 19 is coming out. This book is canceled. Jean Luen Yang doing a great job with these two characters. I'm sad to hear this is the end of the series, but like, yeah.
It was canceled?
It was canceled. It's over.
That doesn't surprise me. I think it was a little, it's like weirdly straight up. Like, yeah, but it's like weirdly just classic comics, but also a little esoteric.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think it's just not the best combination.
And DC made no effort to let you know it was coming out.
Look what's on the cover.
Yeah, it's Superman and Batman as cowboys.
What I say.
Right, cowboys. Westerns coming out. But canceled already.
Yeah, Way of X number 3 is coming out. This one I heard is going to be kind of important.
Yeah, all the Way of X books are.
Yeah, Way of X is important. So this is that Nightcrawler story. I did see Nightcrawler, don't forget, Nightcrawler's been drunk this entire gala.
Yeah.
Every issue he's drunk, and he, in I think New Mutants, had been chatting with some of the New Mutant characters about like life and death and resurrection.
Sure.
Or trying to, but he was drunk.
Yeah. Robin number 3. This is a fun series from Williamson. I think you're going to like it. If you aren't liking it, I doubt you'll like more, but I think this is fine. Also, Connor's back. Yay.
Something is Killing the Children number 17 coming out as well.
And if you're interested in what the new status quo for DC Comics is going forward, you should absolutely check out Infinite Frontier number 1, which I absolutely will be. I don't know what to expect, but I do kind of, because Williamson told me a little bit. But off the record, we'll get to it.
Sword number 6 is coming out. I love this book. I'm not saying it's my favorite. It might be my favorite, but I say that, and then like Hellions comes out, and I'm like, oh, I love Hellions. And Excalibur comes out, I'm like, oh, I love Excalibur.
Right.
But I do love Sword, and after what happened in Planet-Size X-Men, I'm really looking forward to this one.
Agreed. Garth Ennis's Batman book, Batman Reptilian, is coming out.
What is this? And how am I not reading it?
Yeah, well, it's coming out tomorrow. Garth Ennis is writing a Batman book, so obviously Batman will be looking like a friggin' idiot.
This has such an old school vibe to that cover.
Yes.
Like, this looks like it's old.
I know.
And like reprinted.
I know, I can't wait to see it.
Okay.
I can't wait. Spawn's Universe number 1 is coming out from Image Comics, of course. If you are in any way curious about the future of Todd McFarlane's Spawn's universe, you should check it out. I know that all the first issues, or all the books from Spawn's universe, not this one, but like going forward, they're gonna be $2.99, just as a way of checking them out.
All right, cool. And also, if you want more, or to just hear Todd talk, because honestly, Todd.
He's an engaging speaker.
He's just charismatic, no matter what he's talking about. It sounds like a really cool interview with him, and that's on this channel. You can check it out after this.
That's right. Fantastic Four Life Story number 2 is coming out. I liked the first issue, but I wasn't in love with it like I was with Spider-Man Life Story. It's not by Zdarsky.
I had a feeling that was going to happen no matter what, just because of your love of the characters.
Yeah. But I did enjoy it, and I'm gonna. This will be like my make or to break it for this series.
Okay.
Heroes Return, of course, comes out number 1. This one comes out on Monday. or Wednesday, I should say. So we'll see Captain America and the Avengers face off against the Squadron Supreme in their kind of like DC universe. So we'll see how that goes. I don't know. It sounds. I've been reading them all. Regardless of how I feel about them, I've been reading them.
Right.
So,
Oh, I want to give a shout out to Mr. Miracle. The Source of Freedom #2 is coming out. That's the Shiloh Mr. Miracle book.
Yeah.
Just as a heads up for those who might have missed the first issue that came out.
That's right. And of course, we've been enjoying this series. We've read the 3rd issue.
I've already read it.
We actually did a full-on review, so we don't need to do it, but we could again. But we did it already. We did an exclusive review.
Right, but now we can actually talk about the reveal at the end.
Yes, we can talk about the reveal at the end.
Because there is a reveal at the end that we could totally ruin the book, but let's not do that. Because let's let you go grab it yourself.
That's right. Of Shadow Man #3 from Valiant Comics. It's easily the best book the Valiant's put out in the past couple of years.
Yes.
You should read it. It's fun. John Davis Hunt's art is incredible. Colin Bunn is in his element, just doing what he does. And it's a lot of fun. So absolutely check that out if you get a chance. Outside of that, I think that's pretty much it as far as like more books that are coming out.
Because we're definitely not just scrolling through our list right now. That's not what we're doing at all. We're 100% had our list ready to go and pre-pulled before we even started this episode of the show, and we're right, that was all we had.
Yes.
And there was that wasn't
very
filler.
smooth recovery.
Thank you.
But yeah, we want to thank you all so much for hanging out with us. We want to especially thank our super chatters for sponsoring this episode, and a big shout out to A Shared Universe in Eatontown, New Jersey. If you have a podcast or a dream of making a podcast, you need to know nothing about it. All you got to do is have a little bit of scratch, go to the website, and of course visit Eatontown, New Jersey. Go to the location. I believe they have 2 locations. Is that right? There's another. What town is that in?
That is in Homedale, New Jersey.
Homedale. Was that closer, or is it further north or further south?
A little further north.
Okay,
but
all right.
By a smidge.
Cool. Because we're on vacation right now. We are more south than this, and I was wondering which location I should have reserved to make sure.
Oh, definitely here.
Yeah,
Definitely.
no, it was an easy ride. It was an easy ride, and it'll be one for you. But if you want to check that out, check out all the information. If you're watching this on the post-live broadcast, it is in the description, and so you can go to the website and check it out. And you get to look at all this crazy-ass memorabilia. Everything you see behind us, it's but a soupçon of what you can find throughout the halls.
You're seeing a whole bunch of other things you guys can see.
That's right.
It's just for us to see.
Yeah, but we want to thank you all so much for hanging out with us and for indulging us, and we'll see you guys next time with another episode of Off the Rack. Of course, stay tuned on this channel for more. If you are interested in Elseworlds Exchange on Fridays, and of course, go to ComicPop, youtube.com/ComicPop for back issues, which comes out on Wednesdays, and more.
Yeah.
There's so much more. And
there is so much more.
I'm looking forward to seeing you all next time. I'm Sal.
I'm Tiffany.
So long, everybody. Thanks for watching.
Bye, guys.